this afternoon. I'm Allison Lattis.
And I'm Damani Lewis. Well, parents could soon get the answer to the question that's on everyone's mind nowadays. Will schools open back up before the school year is over?
And earlier this week, South Carolina announced that they are not opening back up. In just hours, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper is expected to announce the plan for North Carolina. Our education reporter Elsa Gillis has been following this for us. And Elsa, this is an issue that parents have been asking about for weeks now.
Absolutely, and after hearing South Carolina's plans earlier this week, many people are wondering if we will hear a similar announcement here in North Carolina today. Governor Roy Cooper will be joined by education leaders at the briefing, and as parents, students, and their districts have been anxiously awaiting a more definitive answer about this school year, the State Board of Education, DPI, and a state COVID-19 education work group have been busy working on policy changes and adjustments to deal with the crisis since then and the potential that schools could be closed longer. Just yesterday, the State Board of Education approved a grading policy for this semester, which answered a lot of questions, and draft legislation that would waive certain tests for this school year and allow school districts to start next school year as early as August 17th is being sent to the House. So we will see what the governor has to say. That's at 2 o'clock today. I will have the very latest for you at 5 on Eyewitness News. Back to you.
A lot of parents and teachers as well as kids are going to be waiting to hear this announcement. Thanks a lot, Elsa. Well, that grading policy also was talking about varies by grades. Listen to this here. For grades K through 5, there will be no final grades. Instead, teachers will provide year-end feedback. For 6 through 8, students will get a pass or withdrawal. If a student was passing as of March 13th or has improved to passing since then through remote learning, they pass. They'll get a withdrawal if they weren't and didn't improve since then. And for grades 9 through 11, take a look here. Students have a choice of a numeric grade or pass withdrawal. That would not impact a student's GPA. Now, the decision if a student will be moved up to the next grade will be up to the school principal and staff.
Some Mecklenburg County officials say they're glad the governor has extended the stay-at-home order, even though the trends here seem to be flattening. Right now, 91 people are currently hospitalized from the virus, but the models predict that number could soon be in the thousands in the coming months. Our Joe Bruno asked whether the county believes these predictions are accurate.
There are multiple models out there that show lots of different things because all of the models depend on the data differently and make different assumptions. At this point in time, I'm more concerned about our trends and what we will see as we start loosening things up. So we continue to plan for the worst.
As for opening up the county, they say they will follow the governor's guidance and not add any additional restrictions. The county manager also says that she will meet with business leaders to talk about a plan to reopen when the time comes. This all comes as North Carolina is now above 8,000 confirmed cases of coronavirus. The state is reporting more than 400 new cases today and 16 new deaths. Hospitalizations are down from yesterday. North Carolina has tested more than 100,000 people and only 8% have tested positive. In South Carolina, there are 44,000 completed tests. Only 4,900 have come back positive. Well, we are headed into another weekend where people are probably really hoping they can get outside, soak in some fresh air. Friday's looking great. How about the rest of the weekend?
You know, let's find out that answer, right? Let's turn right now to meteorologist Keith Monday, who says it's warming up, but the rain is not going to stay away for too long, Keith.
No, and even today, there are a few very isolated spots that will get a couple little showers today, but we're more focused on what will come our way by tomorrow afternoon. On live early warning Doppler 9, we'll watch these few little rogue cells come off the mountains this morning, now through midday. Folks at Taylorsville, around Love Valley in northern Iredell County, and just south of Morganton, few brief downpours are out there. These are drifting southeast, working their way to the southeast towards Statesville and Lincolnton as you head through about 1223 at Statesville, around 1242 in Troutman. So not going to see this last all afternoon. Very isolated, most of us will be staying dry. As you see on the futurecast, just a few of those little blips on the map through the afternoon. So we may get a few around Charlotte. You have plans to take do some kid activities outside today. Just use our WSOC TV weather app. It'll let you know what is out there. Now, as we roll through the evening, I expect all of that to move on. But look at the warmth. We're already at 73 degrees in Charlotte. Still cool 50s up into the mountains. Ahead, we'll talk about that better storm chance that's coming our way for the first part of the weekend. How much more dry time we'll be able to salvage.
All right, Keith, thank you very much. Dozens of families depend on one of the most well-known charitable organizations to give them a new home or repair the one they live in. But now Habitat for Humanity of York County is really in desperate need of donations.
Yeah, the outbreak has shut down half of the projects planned for this year. Our South Carolina reporter Greg Suskin is live in Rock Hill. And Greg, a lack of money isn't the only reason work has stopped here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm standing in the middle of a foundation here of a Habitat home that was supposed to be taken and framed up by more than a month ago. A family was supposed to be living in here by June, and that's not going to happen. Let's show you some video right now. Habitat for Humanity of York County cutting to 28 for the year, and they're not even sure that 28 number is actually going to hold. Of course, when you're talking about Habitat, you're talking about volunteers, hundreds of them, whether it's corporate groups, church groups, other groups that come out and help with these homes. And many of those volunteers are elderly. They certainly do not want those people out here on a job site right now. But other than building homes, a lot of what Habitat does is repair existing homes. Of course, with the COVID-19 virus, they can't send people inside people's homes to do that either. So they're asking for donations, concerned that not only these projects, some of them will be canceled, but many others will be delayed, projects that help people.
Each home build that we have, we probably have 300 to 400 volunteers who come out during that particular span of building. So if we have a huge reduction in those numbers, that's going to lengthen out how long it takes to build.
And of course, a whole different aspect of this is those Habitat restores. Now, there are 2 of those stores here in York County. Naturally, they're shut down. I'm told they've lost about $100,000 in revenue from those stores being closed. Back to you.
A lot of funding that they desperately need. Greg, thanks a lot. Well, another Atrium Health drive-through testing site opened today. Now, this one will be located at Northside Baptist Church on Jeremiah Boulevard in Northeast Charlotte. Atrium told us they would adjust locations to make sure that they are serving the areas with less access to health care. Today's testing site will be open from noon to 7 p.m. and you don't need an appointment, but will have to show symptoms of the virus.
There's new evidence to suggest COVID-19 can be transmitted through air conditioning. The field study performed in China during the Wuhan epidemic was published on the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's website yesterday. Researchers found that a restaurant's air conditioning system helped pass COVID-19 from a single diner to 9 other people. That illustrated in this depiction of the infected people you see at these tables. The research may provide insight into how cities and states can safely open restaurants in the future. Doctors are now starting to look into new symptoms some people with COVID-19 are experiencing. First, blood clots. Scientists have known all along the virus targets the lungs, but now they're also seeing a high number of patients with blood clots. In Spain, they're seeing so many patients with blood clots, they're prescribing blood thinners to all COVID-19 patients admitted to the hospital. Many hospitals in the U.S. are doing that as well. Another mysterious symptom showing up is being called COVID toes, dark, painful lesions showing up on people's feet before they start showing other symptoms. It's really interesting. And now a study shows 2/3 of the people who have been seriously ill with COVID-19 don't even have a fever. That was initially one of the first markers. It was something that doctors were looking for at first.
All right, well, let's turn live now to a look at the White House here, where any minute now, President Trump is expected to sign nearly $500 billion of economic relief into law. And much of that money will help struggling small businesses and hospitals. Reporter Jackie Fell tells us the president has been eager to get this done.
The president has signaled his support for this deal all week. It revives a small business program that ran out of money last week. It also includes additional money for overwhelmed hospitals and funding for expanded coronavirus testing. The Senate passed the bill unanimously earlier this week. The House voted to approve it yesterday. It was the first vote the full House has taken since the pandemic hit. Many lawmakers wore masks on the House floor. Some had gloves on, and they maintained safe social distancing. Crews also cleaned the desks and podiums in between votes. Now the president says Congress needs to work on a new rescue deal that could include money for local and state governments. The president says he also thinks there should be a focus on infrastructure. I'm Jacqueline Fell reporting for our Washington News Bureau.
North Carolina's Attorney General is pushing to protect homeowners during this time.
Right now, a lot of homeowners can press pause on their mortgage payments, but in some cases, the banks are telling them those payments will be due in a lump sum in just a few months, and that's impossible for a lot of people. Instead, Josh Stein and more than 30 other attorneys general want banks to tackle the missed payments on the end of their loan. They say their request to the Federal Housing Finance Administration and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development yesterday.